Hello. So I haven't updated the channel in a while. While I was thinking about it, I discovered that I had 48 videos. So I thought, it might be fun to do a quick recap, 5 best, 5 worst, and take me up to 50 videos. Especially given that I'm occasionally accused of only reading books that I don't like. So I thought it might be nice to actually think about some of the really good books that I have read while I've done this, as well as some of the bad ones, obviously. And I thought, it might be fun to include the thoughts of the good people over at Goodreads and compare them to what I thought of the books. And when I did, I found it quite amusing. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to present to you my 5 worst and the 5 best books since I started doing this channel, and I'm going to do them in the order that they are ranked on Goodreads, not by me. Number 10. I'm pretty sure that if you've seen my review of this, you knew that this would be in this list. It's Star Wars Aftermath. And what's interesting about this is the way that Wendy will deny pretty much all the criticism of this book as being the product of people that didn't like his politics or whatever. But you can see when we get into the list, you'll see the scores from Goodreads. They don't change a lot. The 5 worst, the 5 best, they're all within the span of about sort of 0.4. Like 3.8 to 4.2, something like that. Apart from this one, which is massively lower than any of the others. It's down at like 3.1 something, I think. And rightly so, because this is a tedious adventure. It's a bunch of nobodies doing nothing much in the Star Wars universe. And it would be bad enough without bounty hunters surfing corpses through city streets, without herkily-jerkily TIE fighters, without the constant, they're dead, not really. Fooled you, they're not. The only thing that I could suggest is worth parting you from your money for this is because it does have a unique but hideous narrative voice. Star Wars Aftermath. Yeah. Number 9. Filth by Evan Welsh. Welsh creates an absolute powerhouse of a protagonist in D.I. Bruce Robertson. He's a hateful, spiteful, racist and misogynist. He struts his way through Scottish policing with all the charm and finesse of an elephant dragging a wrecking ball from an antiques fair. It's gloriously funny, and it presents its hateful anti-hero as a tragic figure in the end, turning the whole thing on a dime. It's magnificently executed, but because of the themes, it's probably not for everybody. Number 8. Ides of April. Lindsay Davis's dismal Falco reboot insults fans, brain cells, and the Falco legacy, all in one book, no less. It's a gloomy, dismal, private investigating whodunit that forgets to include any actual investigation. It also writes out its most beloved character in favour of obsessing about sexual assault in a sufficiently ill-thought-out way that it'll insult abuse sufferers along with everybody else. It's ugly, it's pointless, and it's awful in ways that I never would have imagined from Lindsay Davis, who's somebody I have enjoyed reading a great deal in the past. Number 7. Next we have Never Let Me Go. Oh. I don't know what to do with my hands now. Kazuo Ishiguro's book is impossible to discuss without spoilers. The narrator is what sold the book to me. It's gently real, it's engaging. I've seen critics of it. I do acknowledge what they have to say, but I found the absent wandering and conversational style to be interesting. The character convincing, the melancholy tone engrossing. It's thought-provoking and touching book. It's beautiful, and it's a great mystery to start with as well, though the way it's revealed is perhaps the only thing I could say that was maybe a touch disappointing about it. Number 6. Friday by Robert Heinlein. You probably expected some Robert Heinlein if you've seen my channel. I read a lot of him. This is an anti-sexism novel that will infuriate misogynists and feminists in equal measure. It's a worthless character in a fittingly worthless story. It contains a brutal rape which ends in a marriage between the raper and the victim. This is as toxic as it is tedious, as dumb as it is dreary. Pages and pages of pontificating, and even has magicians pulling pigeons from their assistant's vagina. I cannot not recommend this highly enough. Number 5. Oliver Twist. The original SJW, Charles Dickens' ode to the wonderful world of the workhouse. Ghoulish, grim, and hilariously scathing, this is a genuinely wonderful book, sharply contrasting savage black humour with the worst behaviour of the period. Sykes, Fagin, Nancy Oliver, These characters are so widely known, they're part of our culture, and it's largely because this book is absolutely glorious and should be read by everybody. Number 4, The Angel Wore Fangs. Can anyone say Viking, vampire, cowboy, angels? What's not to like? Well, everything about this book, everything. I'd probably put this higher if I could convince myself it actually exists. Well, obviously it exists, but I get the feeling that this is vanity published fan fiction or something. The mind boggles that it came from a bookshop. This picture kind of went semi-viral, and it would be better placed with this one. This is some of the stupidest, most repetitive and just god-awful prose you're ever going to read. It's unoriginal and embarrassingly trite with it. Go figure. Number 3. Oh, I haven't got it. Slaughterhouse 5. Where did that go? Billy Pilgrim becomes unstuck in time, bouncing between his life as a prisoner of war in World War II and one as a zoo exhibit on the planet Tralfamador. It's twisted, it's beautiful, it's surprisingly deep, it's impossible to summarise in one of these bits. Incredibly rich and very, very short, really. It's also very real, despite being very zany. So check it out or lose out. So it goes. Number 2. Ubik by Philip K. Dick. This is possibly Philip K. Dick's most accessible work. This is a satire on commercialism, it's a fabulous mystery, it's an incredible exploration of the grand narratives of time and religion. I found the prose to be of quite a high standard, kind of in the face of pretty much the only criticism you really see levelled at Dick very often, and that's that his prose isn't very good, which is, I didn't find it like that at all in this book. Instead, it's harrowing, intense, especially as the mystery builds, and Chip, the protagonist, literally drags himself to his own death. The mystery and ambiguous ending means that this will survive multiple reads. It's a great book. It's Ubik. Our glorious number 1, the highest ranked of the books that I either really like or really hate on Goodreads, is Throne of Glass. This is a perfect example of how not to write a fantasy. Is a dull and stupid protagonist that fails to convince on any level, is a useless, uninteresting love triangle and a meandering Hunger Games clone, and it's all coupled with the flat, uninspiring prose that you'd expect from an untalented teenager. After a man has his brain removed, the investigators dismiss it as a drunken brawl. If you can cope with that level of dumbassery, you may get more from this mess of a book than I did. Number 1 on Goodreads. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, all of the books that I've talked about very briefly I have reviews of on my channel, and I'll put a link to all of them in the description, so that description will probably be quite long. Perhaps you want to check some of those out, or some of the other videos as well. There's lots on the channel, because this is not my 50th video, but very close. See you in the next one. I just want to say also that if you borrow a book from somebody and then you don't read it and you don't return it, then there is a special hell, the hell of 1,000 paper cuts. That is for you, and I'm sure that one of those paper cuts will be just like right on the tip of the finger or something where it really hurts. Those paper cuts, they suck. Maybe in the joint, that's the hell for you. Just saying.